Chris Frederick with Stretch to Win. I'm with Jeffrey Kong, one of my esteemed students, and a successful businessman using FST and massage and other things. And so I'm here to share his inspiring story with all of you. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Chris. Always great to see you and always great to chat with you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So I want to hear about your journey starting when you first, thought about taking our class and you actually registered for level one fascia stretch therapy. Um, I would say before you start your journey, just if you can tell our listeners
hmm
um, about like a little bit, just a little nutshell about what you do, your own training a little bit, and then maybe your business and your location, so people know where you're at.
Okay, sure. Um, I own a little place called Tri-Covery Massage and Flexibility, and Tri-Covery stands for three ways of recovery, and that's using massage, flexibility, and exercise to help people recover from training, recover from injuries, and basically just get the most out of life, um, physically, from that perspective. Now, the massage part, a lot of my employees are licensed massage therapists. Um, Flexibility aspect, we actually encourage a lot of our therapists to pursue FST to handle the flexibility aspect, just because I found that was just the best way to get our clients results. And then the exercise aspect of it, we have two trainers that work with corrective exercise and work on what I call movement tutors to learn how to functionally control their tissue and their body. So we're in Novi, Michigan, and I've been here for 15 years. I opened up in 2010, and I found out when I first opened up, I was doing a lot of deep tissue, a lot of massage work, but I found that I was struggling getting range of motion with a lot of my clients, and I've been stretching people for over a decade. But your traditional stretching that you kind of learn from school, a lot of holds, really like lock out the knee and pull down the toes and hold it and do this stuff. And maybe it helped for like 20 minutes. Maybe if I was lucky, it lasted the car ride home for the client. But no way it ever lasted in the morning when they woke up. It was always back at square one. And I was saying like, man, we're always back at square one. I feel like I'm not making a difference. So I started researching stretching. Um, and I found out a lot of other facilities and stuff that taught their style of stretching, other certifications. And I talked to a friend who actually knew you guys down in Arizona, and she's the one who turned me on to it. And I actually tried to research for about a year and a half before I actually signed up. But back then, there wasn't YouTube a whole lot. There wasn't, a lot of online presence for FST. And so I was kind of like, I don't know what this is. And then I talked to someone else who was a practitioner, who was a massage therapist, and now said they do more stretching than actual massage. And I was like, what, really? And that idea just kind of blew my mind from my perspective at that point. And at that point, I spoke with that person a number of times, and I'm like, you know what? I'm signing up for level one. And I really didn't know what to expect, but I think I came in a little bit arrogant. So I'm like, I've been stretching people for a long time, and you know, I'll be fine. This will be pretty easy. And I was so wrong with that. I felt like such a fish out of water stretching people. I remember calling my wife the third day of training class on a Wednesday and be like, I feel so uncomfortable doing this. I feel terrible for all of my partners. I'm doing such a bad job. And it's not clicking with me. The whole philosophy of stretching is completely different than I had ever been taught or ever practiced. And I just don't get it. And I'm not smooth with this at all. And I think on Friday, and the way you guys teach a class is so uh, there's such a purpose every day of everything. And by Friday, when I remember working on you on that Friday because we had to work on an instructor, and you said like a handful of gold nuggets in a matter of like 10 minutes that just made everything click all of a sudden. And I'm like, okay, absolute game changer for me. Um, Brought it home, tried on a couple clients, and I got instant results on stuff that I'd been working on before I left. And I did one session, all of a sudden, boom. It was a game changer for so many clients. And that's where I started getting busier. And I had two other therapists working for me at the time. And I got to the point where I'm like, I need to send these two other therapists to Arizona for training. Otherwise, I feel like I'm losing revenue. And so I'm like, all right, let's see if I can do this. And I invest, and I had pretty much emptied my savings account in the company to send these two therapists there. Um, and they came back, and it was probably one of the best investments I did into my own company by investing in my own people to learn how to do FST. And their schedules got busier and busier, and the demand just got bigger and bigger. And so that's why it's become such a huge part of Tri-Covery and what we've done.
Where are you now? You started with 2 people. Where are you now?
Now I have 10 employees. We have 6 treatment rooms, and we go from there. We're always hiring, um, and we're always looking for great therapists that care and that want to deliver results, to our clients. Um, so we do that. We also have 2 trainers, and we have a little gym area for that. So it's grown. We used to have multiple locations. We used to have 3 different locations around Metro Detroit area, and now I kind of decided I wanted to focus on one because there's a lot of. I didn't want the headaches. I feel like I've been doing this long enough. I've been doing
Mm,
this career for 26 years now, and I'm like, I don't need to spread myself thin.
mm,
I want to really focus on the quality of work, and not so
mhm.
much the quantity, and just get a bunch of therapists and a bunch of rooms and a bunch of treatments out there. I want to really just make sure we affect anybody we come in contact with the best way possible. And to do that, I felt like just we need to shrink it down. We need to keep everything in house. Um, there's a long, like the onboarding and how we train is pretty much a constant here. And so I try to really focus as much as I can to develop therapists here and let us develop each other is probably a better way to put it. And
Mhm.
give ourselves an environment where therapists can learn from other therapists easily and grow from there. And so that's kind of been the goal now, and let it grow naturally and organically from there.
Well, speaking of growth, when you think about way back when you first started, and who was stretching outside of your business, like what other businesses were stretching besides FST people? I'm talking basically stretch franchises, which have expanded or exploded over the last definitely 10 years. What is your observation? You're in Michigan, in the greater Detroit area,
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's a major city. So what has been your observation over the last year that you've been in it? The growth of the industry, probably maybe even locations opening up right nearby you. So first, your observations about the growth, and then how has it affected your business, positive or negative?
Yeah. So when I first started doing FST, I had to teach people about stretching, and that was the marketing plan. Going out there and just saying, "Oh, we do FST, fascial stretch therapy, and do all this stuff," and everybody's kind of like, "Great, what's that?" Stretching. I've been stretching since I played football in high school. I know how to do that. I know how to reach for my toes for 10 seconds and go to the next movement. And so I had to change and really educate about stretching, and that there's so many different kinds of stretching.
Mhm.
And what now with the new franchises that are coming in and growing, it's kind of taken that place for me now. I don't have to educate because people are doing more stretching, which is great. And so now that opened the door. So it's like, all right, so let's say somebody's been a vegan their whole life, and all of a sudden it's like they get a piece of meat, and they, okay, I got a burger from McDonald's. Oh wow, this is actually pretty good. If you like the burgers at McDonald's, just wait till you have a filet mignon, and you're just gonna fall in love with it, and you never want to go back. And so that's where we kind of come in, where the training that a lot of these stretch franchises do, I feel like it's not quite as in depth. It doesn't teach a philosophy. It doesn't teach a theory of why we're doing things. It just teaches the choreography of it step by step,
Mhm.
and it becomes just a one size fits all cookie cutter type of workshop. And so when somebody goes to one of those franchises, they get stretched. Hey, I've been doing that, and then they come in and see us, and they do get FST done. They're like, oh yeah, this is totally different. Oh, they're not doing any of this stuff. And I was like, well, if you like it while we're doing it, just wait, because for the next 7 days plus, you're going to feel the results of this, which now brings on the changes long term. So no, it's no longer a new range of motion. it is becomes your normal range of motion, which is kind of the whole purpose. We're there, it's like, "Oh, I feel good and I feel so flexible for like 17 seconds. It's wonderful." When I go to those places, oh no, it shouldn't be like that. Nothing gets solidified from that standpoint as far as what your ranges of motion are. So
Well, that's why cookie cutter is a good business, because you want to buy more cookies because it doesn't last. But with FST,
exactly.
it lasts because you want people to
Yep.
change for the long haul, right?
Absolutely. We want results. We want to change lives. You
Yeah.
know, we don't want to have a strong effect and somebody has to keep coming in for the same thing. Maybe you need to change your approach.
Well, it sounds like you're in it for the long term. And that's great to see that, you've solidified, consolidated, and focused. It really does, you try to do the outreach. And we tried the same thing. And then we came back into consolidation, and it feels so much better
Yeah,
now, not to
it
be
does.
diluted. Yeah, not to dilute
Correct.
your energy, your attention, all kinds of things. And also you can rethink things in your own business in that one
Yes.
location. So there's something to be said for that. Um, so this has been inspiring, really, really good. And I know people don't have lots of time to listen to long interviews, but so we'll come towards the home stretch of this, pun intended.
Okay.
Um, if you're looking to hire, and anyone's listening, thinking about, you sound like a great person, a great employer. Did you want to say anything about, you're always looking for
Yeah.
someone, you told me, and just a little, nutshell about what it is at Tri-Recovery and what you're looking for?
So at Tri-Covery, we want to really, you know, focus on the licensed massage therapist is kind of our bread and butter. And then from there, the FST certification directly affects actually your income here. So you actually automatically get raises once you've done certain levels of FST. So if you've done level one, okay, you get a pay bump. You've done level two, you get another pay bump. Level three, and that's actually part of our in our handbook, our manual, and our procedures. And that's an easy way to just make more money here. Um, Also, we also contribute $1,000 every year towards continuing education, and that often gets used towards FST. So it's kind of a double investment from that standpoint. Um, and that's also after you've been with us for a year. So we got to make sure everybody can play well and everybody gets along and go from that. We also offer, or we also hire trainers, to work with the corrective exercise standpoint. We do have a director of corrective exercise here that kind of runs a show with that, and he's doing a great job. And it's been much higher demand than I actually expected when
Mm.
I started that department here. So, so that's always been a great thing, and it's gone really well hand in hand with how to maintain that range of motion and the body control with that. But yes, we're hiring here in Novi. We're always looking for good people. We want to make sure you're humble, that you have integrity, you're hardworking, and those are probably the three main criterias that I look for in an individual. I want to hang out with you every day. You're going to be here. We're going to spend time together. I want to enjoy your company. Everybody here wants to enjoy your company. So that's who we want in here. The skills, all that stuff, I feel like can always be learned, can always be taught. And if they are humble, that should be pretty natural, how that
Sounds,
occurs.
it sounds like a really good job and great mentorship, especially if you're young and you want to get
Yeah.
going with just getting busy right away and working with a great team, because you learn so much working with the right people and having the right team.
Hmm.
I give my early years starting that way is learning so much. You can't do it just on your own. It's very limited. Your experience becomes very limited, and being
Yes.
able to being able to talk about it helps. So to help them, we have some special offers for listeners who may be interested on lots of levels. Whether you apply for a job with Jeff and/or want to get trained at FST, we have an offer of a discount code. If you use Jeff's discount code, what is that for the listeners who want to use a discount code to
It
get
is.
$200 off?
Yep. To get the discount code, it's simple. It's Jeff, JEFF. Simple as that.
That I
And
love
that'll,
it.
yep, that's 4 letters. It's pretty much $50 a letter that you'll save.
I love that. Okay, on that note, use the code Jeff and go to stretchtruin.com. Sign up for level one. This is only for level one, new people, and you'll get an immediate $200 off. And that's it for listening. We reward our listeners. So Jeff, stay on the call when we finish the interview, because I'm going to chat
Sure.
with you a little bit. But that's been inspiring. I feel like if I'm just getting going and I'm a beginning massage therapist, or even FST person, I'd love to work for you, because you sound very welcoming and warm. And that's hard these days because a lot of it's a grind out there. You know what I mean? It's just
It
they want
is.
you. It's like a fast food restaurant. They just want you to do this and then the next, then the next.
It's a hard mentality. I've seen a lot of survivalistic type mentalities,
Hmm.
where it's like people, therapists, and they want to hoard their clients and then go
Yeah,
from there. But if you can go from a team atmosphere, one person can bring opportunities, but if you have a team of nine other people, that's nine other people that can help you bring opportunities, and you go from there. And so yeah, it's a lot more fun when you got a team and a group that's like minded.
yeah. I think Tri-Covery is like an oasis in the desert.
So yes, I'll try to be. All
All right. Thank you very much, Jeff. We'll end that
right,
interview on
thank
that
you.
note. Okay.